الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحابه وبارك وسلم. Ye forgot not that you are on the Sky FM Transmission Radio International. International. Oh, yeah. English, that's not international. International is Portuguese and the rest of the languages, the Paraguay. We are here to answer your questions, considering it to the Psalm. Some of the ulamas that are there saying something unusual. Some of the ulamas that are there, they talking something senses which is considering it to Islam. Here we are to the position that everybody has to speak of their own way how they want to be. But the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we saying that the qurban, it doesn't mean the last meat that you slaughtered the last year and you're giving this year and that can be qurbani. No, that is not the qurbani that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. You can't keep it for 11 months, rotten things and giving the people and say this is a qurbani meat. Just for this year you wanted to clean up your deep freezers and the fridges and everything to say that you wanted to put another new meat. It doesn't make a sense on that. Here we're going into Zaman, that is alive, Zaman 999, which is a group that we have to do. Meanwhile, we got here on top of everything for whatever it is needed. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The qurbani, it is needed the fresh as much as you can manage. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it 3 days, Ayyam al-Tashriq. The Ayyam al-Tashriq is the days that you have, if you fail the first day, the Eid day, so that you can slaughter the following day. Then the rest, if it is too much, leave it for the next day. If it is too much, leave it for a third day, so that on the third day nobody can say that I was so busy for these 4 days. So Allah gave a chance already, and we call it in Arabic Ayyam al-Tashriq. Ayyam al-Tashriq is the days that you have to make even the takbirat. The takbirat has to go on and on and on and on up to 3 days. Lastly, Asr time. Maghrib time, don't make another takbirat over there is not needed. So what is needed? The takbirat from the beginning right up to the third day, which means just after Asr, we closing it down completely. There is no qurbani ba'da dhalik. After that, there is no qurbani. Which means if you give the meat of qurbani after Asr on the third day to the fourth day and say, no, this is last week meat of qurbani and all that, that is not a qurbani, that is becoming sadaqah. And that sadaqah in this month, you don't know whether it's going to be accepted or not. And that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about the rules and the regulations of the qurbani itself, so that the person who takes the rules and the regulation gets a thawab to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person who doesn't even care, then for what now Allah has to care? There is nothing to care. Shukran jazila. We are here doing the things for you. The phone calls are coming one way. How it is like that, man?
Assalamu alaikum, Karisab. It's Razia Maftu. How are you? I'm a little bit confused. Today is Arafat Day. Isn't it Arafat Day the next day we're supposed to celebrate Eid? Why are we celebrating Eid on Thursday? And why are we calling tomorrow the Muslims are still fasting when we're not supposed to fast tomorrow? It's 9 fast today. Please explain to me exactly why, what's the difference? Makkah having Arafat today and tomorrow is Eid, and some people say Arafat Day is tomorrow and Thursday is Eid. Please help me out.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greatest Yapa, how are you? I hope you are okay. And if I have to answer you this, some other people will get offended. But since I'm not making the people happy, I rather make Allah the great, the creator happy, rather than being making the people happy or for fame and name and all that. Always, when it comes to Yawm Arafah, the day of Arafat, if the day of Arafat is today now, tomorrow is Eid. There is no way that you can make Arafat today, tomorrow fasting, after that day fasting again, after that day fasting again, until 7 years you're still fasting just because of you wanted to entertain the people or some other ulama or some other jamiatis and all that. No. The thing is, when it is Yawm Arafah, the following day is Eid. Finish, khalas. You don't do Yawm Arafah today and are still fasting 3 days, 4 days and then making Eid. No, that is not Arafah. Unless otherwise. Unless otherwise. Otherwise of the shaitan that the ummah went for a shaitan itself. That is only can be made. But the reality is, and that is the reason why some other people are so frustrated with all these ulamas that are jumping around to say they are ulamas and all. It's not easy. It is not easy. Wallahi, it's not easy at all. They say they are ulamas, but misleading the people. They can't even manage to count 9 days to make the 10th Eid. What kind of ulama is this? So this is about the grouping of the people, the bunch of the people, what they want to fulfill of their own needs. It's not anything else. No way that you can make Arafat today, tomorrow fasting, after that day fasting again, after that day fasting again, until 7 years you're still fasting just because of you wanted to entertain the people or some other ulama or some other jamiatis and all that. No. The thing is, when it is Yawm Arafah, the following day is Eid. Finish, khalas. You don't do Yawm Arafah today and are still fasting 3 days, 4 days and then making Eid. No, that is not Arafah. Unless otherwise. Unless otherwise. Otherwise of the shaitan that the ummah went for a shaitan itself. That is only can be made. But the reality is, and that is the reason why some other people are so frustrated with all these ulamas that are jumping around to say they are ulamas and all. It's not easy. It is not easy. Wallahi, it's not easy at all. They say they are ulamas, but misleading the people. They can't even manage to count 9 days to make the 10th Eid. What kind of ulama is this? So this is about the grouping of the people, the bunch of the people, what they want to fulfill of their own needs. It's not anything else. When the ulama starts to like money, start talking about money, receiving money from the people, receiving money from organizations, receiving money from associations. This is what happens. And it is very hard. It is very hard. Islamic, we are losing slowly because the ulama is going for money. If the ulama had no money issues, if the ulama had no any associations, the associations that it is depends on them to make the money and to receive the money and to make everything in haywire, all this could not be happens. So they are there for money itself, and it is very hard. It is very hard to understand them. The Arafah, if it is today, tomorrow is Eid. There is no otherwise out of it. Shukran jazilan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Great Apa. By coming and asking from the Sky FM transmission radio the way how it is. And the people today, they are not there for Allah. They are there for something else which is going to suit themselves the way how they wanted it to be. And they turn Islam to the business side. Islam is where it went to worse than ShopRite itself. This is how the Maulanas and the Muftis became. They don't know how to talk the reality. They don't talk haqq. They don't talk nothing. Only talking for themselves the way how they know how to get whatever the achievement it is. Shukran jazilan. If they say that Arafah is today, then you make Eid tomorrow. You don't have to fast another 2 weeks to make it 93 days for this fast. This fast is only 9 days. The 10th ones is okay. If you fast the Yawm Arafah, the following one is Eid. There is nothing else beyond it. Shukran jazilan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. ngani jakwe tuyekiteje kummanya shetani kuti shetani ni chichi yabatezle shetani ni yapi lunda lwa shetani akazajimira papi pakwazo kuno bandu shetani akazatenda gawuli tuli pano pamakena ja mufti Sulaimaan ije Madengo wale wajiri arudi water power international Pascal FM transmission radio 95.5 FM kwende nayo hayaka. Yantimabazi tuli pano abano tugobola napano Alex abano tuliana ula napano namu yantimabazi abano tugobola napo أجد المعاني مثيرة لمجدي تنسى كل قوافي مطيرة فتركني عرض الشعر واقصد كوثرة جاءت معاني الفخر تزهو غبطات لكنني أجد المعاني مثيرة للمجد يا أصحاب متن حكايات يذر الحروف عن الشروح مقصرة 20 عاما والمجمع آيات في البذل تمزق بالبحور الزاخرة still here. Pano, 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 ngatukutioka. We are never gone out here, man. Jay, we were talking about the qurbani meat, how to give the people, how to make it everything possible, how to distribute it. Some of the other people, they give the meat which is unacceptable in the rules and the regulations of Islamic way. On that matter, there is no favors and there is no tolerations and there is no nothing. We have to tell only the truth. Because when anybody tries to make the qurbani, it's not for the name and the fame and all these nonsensical things that are going around and moving, flying away and all. It is for beneficial of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yourself, not for Allah, but for yourself in Jannah, for you to get into Jannah. Jannatul Firdaus, Amin. So that is all what we're crying for. Rather than that, we are not there to entertain the people, make the people happy for a name and fame, slaughtering for the name and fame and all that. No, 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 no. Today on the radio of the Sky FM transmission radio, you are with the Mufti Sulaimaan. Inshallah, we going to slaughter nicely, perfectly. But then don't ever give the people rotten, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what he says, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. You are not going to get Jannah at all. You are not amongst the pious people until you give the things which you like yourself. If you like to receive yourself so that you can eat the same thing freshly, then you are the Jannatiyya one. But if you can't eat because it is the rotten, the green flies, they are following the meat and all that, no, how can you just throw it to other people, poorest people, giving them rotten things? When it comes to that, there is no Jannat for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Not me, but it is the Quran. Then it is up to you. Naam, shukran jazilan. Here we go. Slowly, slowly until you get the point. There is no rush. When it comes for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no rush. No matter what you do, remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. You are not there to give the people rotten things. You are not there to entertain yourself, to say, no, the qurbani, that meat which was on the deep freezer for 6 years or 4 years, now I have to offload it. Jibrilu alayhi salatu wasalam, when it was bringing the sheep to Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the owner of the qurbani, the person who started the qurbani, to qarribu ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, never brought it rotten. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam slaughtered it himself freshly, gave to the people freshly at the same spot at the same time. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the people a chance for 3 days, so that today you can go slaughter for your sister, tomorrow go slaughter for your mother, after that you come up and finish with yours. The last minute you come up and slaughter with yours, so that the rest of the family, they got their own gap. So you don't have to make excuses to say, no, me, I was busy and all this, I'm going to give it till next year and all that. That is not the Islamic way, the way how we prepare the Qurbani. The Qurbani doesn't go without the rules and the regulations. The Quran goes with the rules and the regulations. It is haram to give the people rotten things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. And that is not any hadith, not Ibn Baz, not Taymiyyah thing, not Fazail al-Amali thing, not Fadail al-Sadaqa thing. It is the Qur'ani Kij, which is the Quran that has no doubt or no doubtation on it. So it's up to you. Refuse it, be it, to transgress it, to transgress it or not. That is up to you, the way how you feel it to do. I hope you understand. The rules and the regulations of the Qurbani needs to be understand full aware what it is for. It's not just to give the people when it is you like to give them. No. What Allah says in the Quran, وَأَطْعِمُ لِبَائِسِ الْفَقِيرِ, give the poorest. That is, there is some other people that who don't even eat the meat itself. They eat the meat once a year or twice a year, or they used to eat the meat just because of the occasions. Without the occasion, there is no meat for them. So this is what Allah says, وَأَطْعِمُ لِبَائِسِ الْفَقِيرِ, give it to the poorest that they deserve. In such doing, then it is one of the rules and the regulations of the Qurbani.
على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم yeye kuimba mundu jokudaiya ibida ye kutenda wakuntocha wakunu الأحلام يا فارسنا كن بهذا العصر من أعلامه ودع الأحلام يا فارسنا كن بهذا العصر من أعلامه كن بهذا العصر من أعلامه كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي فالمعالي للتحدي لا سواك كن سعيدا كن فريدا
والله 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 لا سواه لا سواه لا سواه لا سواه كما قال الله تعالى مخبرا وآمرا وفي كتابه محكمة الحكيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما نطعم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to the people, the believers, the right doers, told them when it giving it to this qurbani thing, the qurbani sadaqah, the qurbani action, that Allah told them completely once for all, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. You gotta say that we're feeding the people just because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for the name and the fame and this that the people are carries on one way non-stop. Not for the name and the fame. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. We give it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need the Jannah. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. We don't need for them to make thanks or any special things, which is name and the fames. No fame here, no name here. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. So that they can be so proud in order to understand and making themselves pride. No, this qurban is not for that. The qurban has the rules and the regulations. The people who deserve it right, they freshly give to them. They have to the dry one, if they want a cooked one, if they want to just throw it into the fire and put it, whatever they need to do, they can do it. It's not about biryani and all that. No, this meat is not for the biryani buy. It's not for the biryani at the moment. Never. It's not working like that way. That way is not for this one. That is what only when the people want it to be. Then they can do it.
إنما المشتاق للمجد السليم لن تراه متقينا كالعبيد. إنما المشتاق للمجد السليم لن تراه متقينا كالعبيد. إنه ليس البرايا ثابت ينتقي العزة بعزم من حديد. إنه ليس البرايا ثابت ينتقي العزة بعزم من حديد. ينتقي العزة بعزم من حديد. كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي فالمعاد.
We're going into the position where it is required not even either. Not even required to say, oh, this qurbani I will keep it after 3 days or 4 days. The next week I will give it out because I have to go for the... No. You don't have to worry about cutting and cleaning and everything. Give themselves, they will cut it and clean it for themselves. Your duty is done today as now. So there is no way that you have to wait and wait and wait and make them understand and make them know next week, next month to go and give the people next month when the meat started to get rotten. Now we got load shedding here. The lights goes every time now and then. This meat will get rotten. Please, brothers and sisters in the houses over there, if you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give it out as now. After you finish the Eid, give it out as now, so that they will know what to do with it. You don't have to get stressed out. How am I gonna keep this meat now? Is getting rotten and all that. No, man. Let me live in Allah's hand so far. In this Our time is getting finished now, inshallah, until next week, the same time, same place again, inshallah, Rahman. I mean, on the makina, on the studio, on the favorable, presented with the Mufti Sulaimaan. Let me leave you with Allah's grace.
भी मेरे लिए